Hi everyone, Sue Matsuki for Nightlife Exchange, and here's another Sue's Muse with two amazing women. The one and only Amanda McBroom and the equally one and only Michele Brourman. Thank you ladies so much for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you for inviting us. It's really
What
We
a
are
nice.
del-
coup.
we are oh honey, we are delighted to be talking to you.
Yeah.
So you are both coming to New York to celebrate what is a 50-year relationship together.
Shh.
It's
It's
actually
actually,
50 plus, but
but
50
who's
still
counting? Yeah.
Who's counting? It's hard to believe because, the two of you are ageless as far as I'm concerned. You must have started working together when you're teens.
Yes, we
Yes, we
did.
did.
Absolutely.
This is why I get the big interviews. um,
I,
tell me about how you met. I mean, did you meet on campus? Did you meet at some singing event? How did the two of you come to be?
Well, I'll start, Michelle, and then you can finish.
Go ahead.
I had just moved to Hollywood with my husband, and I wasn't really a songwriter. I was an actress and doing musical theater and television and commercials and stuff like that. But songwriting was kind of a hobby with me. And we moved into this fabulous apartment in the Hollywood Hills, which at the time was like $125 a month, no lease, furnished. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's how long ago this was. And if I had my little cassette of songs that I had just written in, with my little plunky guitar or my little piano. And a neighbor said to me, you see that brown MG over there, MG convertible? And I said, yes, I do. He said, there's a record producer and he lives there and you should meet this record producer. And so the universe said, just grabbed me by the brain, and I wrote a note and said, hi, my name's Amanda, I write songs, I'm in apartment 203. And I stuck it under his windshield wiper, and he came over, much to my amazement, and wanted to hear my little cheesy cassettes. So I played him a couple of cheesy cassettes, and I'll turn it over to Michelle then.
That
And
record
then,
was my boyfriend.
oh, son of a gun.
So, yeah. I mean, we had our ups and our downs and our ins and our outs, so to speak. But that was my boyfriend. So he calls me and he says, "Oh, I've met this woman and she's gorgeous and she's so talented and she sings and she's got this great voice and she's writing these great songs. You got to meet her." And I'm thinking, yeah, right.
Another one.
Right. But we met, and I think the very first time we got together, Amanda handed me a lyric that she'd written. And I looked at this lyric and I thought, okay, I want this woman to be my friend for the rest of my life. I can't wait to sit down at the piano with these words. I was I was always hungry for good words to put
What
music.
were those first songs? I'm curious to know. What were a couple of the songs on the cassettes?
Oh,
Well, the first lyric the songs on the cassettes were just a couple of, well, one of them was The Rose.
You
You
know,
know,
the Rose.
no, I don't, you hadn't written The Rose yet.
had I not?
No?
Oh, because
Oh,
you
I
came to
thought
my
that was
house
what
and
got.
played it for me when you wrote it. So
Oh, well, there you go. See, she
it was
remembers our
like
history.
ship in a bottle.
Ship in a bottle, yeah.
Okay.
But I gave her the lyric to a song, what I thought was a little country waltz. And what she returned to me was this Aaron Copland epic. But tell him what we called it.
Well, see, she wrote these amazing verses and amazing choruses, and they all had a lot of words.
Way too many words. That's my
And
downfall.
so I looked at it and went, what we need is a chorus because the song is about the wind. It was about Amanda had read about the pioneer women in the Great Plains who would go crazy. The wind was constantly kind of singing through the grasses, and their husbands would be off somewhere for months at a time, and they'd just go nuts and walk off into the tall grass and vanish.
Wow.
And so there was this big chorus, and I said, what we really need is like the voice of the wind. It's got to be a woman's name. It needs to sound like Western. I said, I think it should be Amanda. And Amanda said, oh, no, 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 I can't write a song with my name in it. I said, I know, but I can.
There you go.
That just set us off on a path. that and we have not written exclusively with one another. Amanda has written some of her greatest songs all by herself with no help. She doesn't really need help from anybody. Really, songs like Errol Flynn and Wheels and Dreaming. It's like
I mean, there's so many. It's just such a wealth.
so many. But we, I mean, we just love.
We
writing.
just love to write together.
I was going to ask, is it the chicken or the egg? But it sounds like lyrics are submitted and then you hear the music from the lyrics, or is that mostly how you guys work?
I would certainly never use the word submit.
Yeah.
But usually we start with a lyric. We've had instances where the music's first, but for some reason, for me, the music flows out of the words, out of the emotion, and
And Michele will call me and say, listen, I just saw this quote. Listen, I just read this article. Do you think this is a song? And I'll say, yeah, it's a song. And then from what the seed that she has planted in my brain, I'll write a lyric and then I'll send it to her. So
That's
she
interesting.
that's a
J-
two-way thing.
Jay Leonard, great bass player, Jay Leonard, great songwriter, funny and prolific. He always has this little pad in his pocket. And I would be speaking to him and I'd say something pithy or funny and he'd take something out and he'd write. I said, I hope I'm going to get credit for that little germ of an idea. But that's how he kept track, especially as he got older, how he kept track of these gems of ideas that come up through life. But that was what I was going to ask you too, Amanda. So many of your songs, they're not the same topic or the same journey. They just come out of places, Wheels and I mean just these little teeny things that maybe get your attention, and then these gorgeous epic songs come out of them. And how does it go for you? Is it literally like that? You see a bag lady on the street and you think of this, or how does it work for you? Yes?
Yes. My whole approach predominantly, aside from the assignments that Michele and I have had writing for animated features and something like that, is I will see because I started in theater, because theater is my heart, and being an actress was the first thing I did. I have a tendency to write monologues. My best songs are monologues. They're little 3-minute acting pieces. Because that's what interests me. There are way too many people writing the brilliant love song. I like to write the story song. I like to write the story of the wife of the guy who went to the mountain. That sort of thing. So they're all theater to me.
Well, they are little epic pieces of theater. I mean, putting things away. I mean, the stories are just so beautiful, so real. And then, Michele, you look at these lyrics, and like you said earlier, they speak to you, and then the music comes out of you in such a way. Do you ever have a discussion of like, well, I feel this is a samba, or I feel this is strictly a ballad, or do you ever have that conversation, or is it just this kind of unspoken trust that you two seem to have? I mean, you finish each other's sentences of what's going to be is going to be. How does that work on your end, Michele, once you get these lyrics?
Most of the time, fairly quickly, I'll just sit with them and something happens. Once or twice, I've sent something to Amanda. I mean, I always send it. I'll get a certain way into it and then send it to her and say, "Am I on the right track?" Once or twice, she said, "No, it's not. I think it's something else." But most of the time, we agree on these things.
I'd say once or twice in 50 plus years. Yes, we've said, and I will send a lyric to Michele, and she'll say, "This doesn't speak to me." Great, okay.
But that's very rare.
Yeah.
There's one lyric she sent me. This is I call it our 30-year song. It's a story song she sent to me literally 30 years ago. I got a certain way into it, and then I just got stuck. I just got stuck because it's a very deep story song, and the storytelling just goes off in a direction, and I just went, I don't know how to do this. I could not figure out how to do it, and I would come back to it like every 3 to 5 years and try again, and never. And then finally, it was like a year and a half ago, I went, oh, wait a minute, it there it was, and there it was. So it took
Is that
30
is that
years.
Light of the Moon?
Yeah, took 30
Ah.
years to write this song. It's a very magical lyric. It's a
The
very
show that you guys are doing at Birdland on April 20th, which is a Monday night, which is right before, the world famous cast party. So if you're coming to see the show, and I hope you do, stay, bring music and stay for cast party afterwards. But the show that you're doing is celebrating your relationship. Are you bringing songs exclusively that you've written together? What's the gist of what the flow of the show will be? Or is it just the best of all your music? How's it going to work?
We're talking about that now.
Are you really?
Oh,
you
yeah.
better get on it.
Well, we've been talking
we had
about
7
it.
weeks.
Yeah,
Eight,
but
actually.
we've been talking about it for quite a while. Just trying to figure out. I like to call our songs the McBrourman tunes, and I think that predominantly I think it'll be McBrourman's, but I also think that if Michele has one that she absolutely adores or that people want to hear that's a her and somebody else, yay. I can't think of anything that's a me and somebody else that I want to do. I just want to do our stuff because I love our stuff.
But I about a week ago I said to Amanda as we were working on this, we can't do a show without doing The Rose, which she wrote. But
And probably
which,
my favorite year.
maybe.
Yeah.
I love that song, yeah.
Oh,
In terms of the Rose, how did that get into Bet's hands? How did that happen? I'm just curious.
her name is Michele Brourman.
Oh,
Yeah,
This is
Michele
actually
was the
interesting.
professional writer. I was not a professional writer.
Well, no, you all. So she was never not a professional.
yeah, I was just going to say that, but,
I mean, we know this, but I'd been working. I was writing all the dance and incidental music for working, going to Broadway in New York. So I was in New York, but I had been back and forth a few times, and one of the times I did a performance opening for a violinist named Richard Green.
Ah, Richard.
Right. Not to be confused with Richard Green, who was Robin Hood, who was my absolute childhood idol. And this woman had come up to me afterwards saying, "I love your music, let's talk." And she contacted me while I was in New York and said, "My friend Marvin Worth is doing this movie, and it's about a sort of a Janis Joplin character, and he's looking for songs. I thought you might want to give him some songs." So I called my then writing partner, Karen Gottlieb, who wrote My Favorite Year with me, and said, "Can we put together some stuff?" Because she was here and I was in New York. And Karen said yes, and of course Amanda wrote the movie was going to be called The Rose. She said, "Amanda wrote a song called The Rose. Should we give him that?" And I said, "Absolutely."
wow.
So Karen walked into this producer's office and said, "Hi, Julia Cameron sent me." That was Julia Cameron, the woman who wrote
Right.
The Artist's Way, which she hadn't done yet. And they took the 2 cassettes, and of course none of our songs fit a Janis Joplin singer, but
Brilliant as they were.
I'm sure. Goes without saying.
so yeah, that's how it got there.
Now, I know each of your songs are like little babies. They're like little parts of your heart and everything. And not for any specific reason, but do you have like a favorite song, not just because it was successful or just something that it came at a part of your life? I want to ask each of you this question. It came at a time in your life that was, the one about your dad, of course, but you have so many. So what song or songs have been like really super special for you that you finished them and you said, okay, this is a special piece of my heart?
Yeah, the song about my dad, definitely. The song that the song that Michele and I wrote together, that's very special to me. And I love all of our funny material. Michele, her musical sense of humor matches my verbal sense of humor so much. I love we have one called Eggs. That's one of my favorite songs because it's so much fun to sing and it makes people laugh.
Good, you put it in your show. Michele, What of, your body of work, separate from what you do with Amanda and everything, is just also incredibly impressive. And I'm going to have links to both their websites below. I'll do the
Thank
research.
you.
All you have to do is click on links below this, as well as a direct link for ticket sales for the show at Birdland. So after you've watched the video, just scroll down underneath this and everything will be right there for you so you can get to know their history and their background a little bit. But same question to you. What songs were a special part of your heart in writing, and then afterwards you were like, yeah, that's a special one?
We wrote a musical called, written a couple. We wrote a musical called Dangerous Beauty.
Oh gosh, yes.
And there's a whole bunch of songs in there that we both love, like beyond belief love. And we worked with that show for years, like more than 10 years, and we did have a gorgeous production of it at the Pasadena Playhouse, and we ran into some obstacles. But that music, like, it just screams from my heart. We've written some songs for a one-woman show that Amanda was doing, that's all songs for Shakespeare's women characters, and there's several in there. Some we wrote together, some she wrote alone, but they're just amazing. And then there's a song I wrote alone called Eric and the Coyote.
Oh yeah.
It's on the first CD that I made, and I can't explain it, but that one really just came right out of my heart.
Oh, that one makes me cry every time.
How do you feel when you hear other singers singing your songs? It's hard as a songwriter to write something and want it done specifically the way you do it. But then I always like, even if it's just an American Songbook song, I always enjoy when somebody else does a song that I'm doing regularly because I see other colors in their interpretation and stuff. Is that true for you when you hear your material being done by other singers?
For me, absolutely. I'm delighted when anybody wants to do, because I always hear something that I had not imagined, and if it's really good, I'll steal it. But yes, so I appreciate listening to other people.
And Michele, how about you?
Most of the time, yes. Sometimes, see, this is where I'm not as nice as Amanda. Sometimes people are sloppy.
Or they take too many liberties, I would say.
Taking liberties. They don't bother
Right.
to really look at the music or look at the words. And they just sort of, it's just sloppy. And that really bothers me.
Yeah.
There are people that will take liberties with something and I just go, oh, that is so fabulous. Like, I would steal it too. Or I just love it. I wrote a song called Aurora that I also really love. Maud Maggart sang it. I was over the moon. I have learned things from what she did with my song that I didn't even know were in there. So a really good singer will tell you something about what you wrote. But first they have to actually pay attention to what you wrote. And I get a little impatient with people who don't bother.
Yeah, even in my cabaret teaching and stuff, I make people, and my musical director makes even me learn everything exactly as written, because even in the jazz world where you do take liberties as an instrumentalist or soloist or whatever, you have to know those notes, and it's just disrespectful, and far be it from me to sing something that Cole Porter wrote the way I want to sing it. Come on, it's just kind of not cool.
Well, but eventually you find those note variants and those phrasing shifts, and you find your own, because it has to come from your own pores, it has to.
But you're talking more about the sloppiness of not really understanding what the lyric means, or the understanding of the song. Not learning.
Somebody recorded My Favorite Year and sang After All the Lives I've Lived Through All These Years, and I'm going like,
what? Yeah.
How could you not understand that?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. I got it. Now, you guys also collectively teach a class on songwriting. What is that class structured like? Because I think maybe the next time you come to town, or maybe the next show you do next year or something, we can maybe do a master class on songwriter. I know enough songwriters here in New York that we could actually sell that one as well. Our master class with them, by the way, is sold out, but we do have some audit seats, and I'll put that information below if you want to audit the class that they're going to be teaching on April 18th here in the city at a Midtown studio if you're here in New York. But in 2 hours, the singing spots were gone. People are so excited
Wow.
about your coming back. Absolutely. So, what does teaching a songwriting class? How does that work? Do we bring lyrics to you? Do we have a sketch of the music in our heads? What do we bring to you? How do we come to this class prepared to get the most from it from each of you? I'll let Michele start on this one.
You know, it so depends on where you are in your craft or artistry, what you bring. We taught a workshop in Tuscany a couple of years ago, and one person came who had never written a song in her life. A couple people came who were so accomplished that we're kind of going like, "Can we teach you?" You know,
Yeah.
there's such a range, but everybody came away having created new things, learned things. We all learned from each other. I like to say we led the workshop more than
Yes.
taught it,
Yes.
at least in that case.
We had exercises, speed writing. We put people together as teams that didn't even know each other beforehand, and it was a week long. It was a week, wasn't it, Michele? Yeah, yeah. And we had a time frame. That they had time to work together and develop stuff from scratch. If we were doing a shorter workshop, I would say bring something that you're already working on that we can help you with. And then maybe plant seeds for a new creation. And certainly we can both contribute to where we find our inspiration and how we go about the process of writing it.
Is this something that is this something you can do on Zoom, for example?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because what I was thinking is that maybe those of you watching this, if you're songwriters and would like me to organize that, I can maybe put that together and we can create like a couple of sessions on Zoom, and see if we can't get that going. Because I know a lot of people would really, I know I would glean a lot from working with the two of you because I'm just a baby songwriter at this point. But yeah, that's amazing. I can't wait. I just can't wait to see this show. Last time you were here, Beth Falcone and Rit Hen were playing for you because Michele, you couldn't join us here, and so the class is very, very excited. Some of the same singers are coming back. Very excited to have you in the room with them as well this year. So, if I asked each of you what was some of the best advice you had ever received from a mentor, not necessarily specifically towards music, but just in terms of anything, what would that be? Michele, what can you remember as something that you've used to this day in terms of advice from someone?
Gosh, I need to think about that for a moment.
Amanda, do you have something?
Yes, yes. My mentor was my husband. Is my husband. He was a great singer and a no bullshit guy. And the one thing that he said to me and just drummed into me is stand still and tell the truth. It's all about telling the truth without the birds and the bees and the stuff like that. But if you really want a song to settle, you have to show your true colors. So
Yeah, the one word that I always stick with is authentic. If I see a singer and I feel like what they're saying is authentically them, and sometimes I say, songs will choose me because what those words are authentic to my energy.
Yeah.
And Michele, have you thought of something?
Well, those words of George, yes. Also, somebody years ago when I was performing said to me, don't try to reach for the audience. Let them come to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, we just put out what we put out. And the other best advice I think I ever got was, don't try to make something happen. Almost do the opposite. Almost do the opposite. Do nothing until you just can't help yourself. It's
Less is more.
Yep.
Give it some headroom. Give
Yeah.
it some place to grow.
Let a song breathe. I mean, it's all there. Well, folks, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us for this little mini get together. Please, please, please join us on Monday, April 20th at 7 p.m. at Birdland. Again, the link for tickets is right below. You can meet these two beautiful women there. They usually do a little kind of meet and greet after the show as all of us are walking out to say hello. If anybody wants to meet them in person at the masterclass, again, down below you can contact me for an audit seat, but they're going quickly, so let me know right away. I cannot tell you what an honor it is to know the both of you and to be able to work with you in the master classes that you're going to be teaching while you're here and everything. It's just been so great. I love and cherish not only the both of you as women, but I love and cherish your work. Your work speaks to everyone, and you will hear that very often, I think, after your show and also during your class, because everyone who's attending speaks constantly about this song means so much to me, and this song means so much to me, and that song means so much to me for whatever reasons. So it's this collection of a body of work that is just so impressive. And I thank you as a singer, and I thank you, as someone that looks to the two of you as, mentors and everything. So thank you on behalf of the community for all that you have contributed. Your beautiful, beautiful work and your collaboration is everything. It's everything.
Darlin, thank you beyond any. You have just made my heart so happy.
Great.
You
I'm
are
getting weepy.
awesome.
Good. We'll see you in New York very soon, and we'll see
Yes.
everybody the next time on Sue's Muse. Thank you again, ladies, for joining us. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
Sue.
it. Good night, everyone.